All right, what's up, everybody? Look, the stock market is taking an absolute beating this morning, with the S&P 500 currently down about 1.4% to kick off the day. We have the Dow Jones down nearly 2%. We got the nasdaq down over 1%. We got the Russell 2000 down over 2%. I mean, it has been a rough morning, and I'm under the belief that this entire pullback that we're seeing right now is due to one very specific thing that's occurring right now during this Iran conflict. There's one very specific thing that's causing this market to pull back, and today we're going to go over exactly what that specific thing is, why it's causing the market to pull back how it is, and what we can expect from all of this going forward. So we have a good bit to get into today, so let's not waste any more time at all, and let's get straight into it. So again, yeah, we can see the market has been quite shaky, especially over the last couple of days, pulling back. The S&P 500 has now pulled back from $631 all the way down to $618, and it has gained quite the momentum to the downside over the last 24 hours. Now, the reason why this is happening is because of what is currently happening in the Strait of Hormuz. If you don't know what the Strait of Hormuz is, we've talked about it several times here on the channel this week. But basically, there's a body of water that sits directly under Iran that's responsible for about 20% of the world's global oil supply. And the problem is that when this whole Iran conflict started, the Strait of Hormuz basically froze. Tankers weren't going through, they were being attacked. It got real ugly there. And so naturally, if a major body of water that's responsible for a huge portion of the world's oil supply just freezes, well, guess what? The oil supply in the world is going to start to fall. There's going to start to become a supply issue. And remember, when supply falls but demand stays the same or increases, oil prices go up. And this was a worrying thing for the market, especially when this all first started. Because if oil prices go up, inflation goes up. If inflation goes up, then monetary policy has to get more restrictive. And guess what? That means less liquidity, less capital in the market, and assets like stocks and crypto typically don't do well. So if the Strait of Hormuz is frozen, make it simple. If the Strait of Hormuz is frozen and oil prices go up as a result of it, that's not good for the stock market. And that's why the stock market actually responded so negatively to this news when it first released. Well, just a couple days ago, and some of you may be confused, because just a couple days ago, I made a video for you all saying like, hey, the Strait of Hormuz situation actually might be solved. Because Trump came out and he said, don't worry about the Strait of Hormuz. We're not going to let there be any issues there. I'm going to provide insurance to any of the companies who have tankers going through the Strait of Hormuz. And in addition to that, I'm going to send the Navy to go escort tankers through the Strait just in case Iran wants to play any funny games. And the market actually responded super positively to this. Oil prices started coming down. People were like, oh, okay, maybe this whole oil situation isn't going to turn into anything crazy. Maybe inflation won't go up. Maybe we don't need to worry about this. So the market actually did respond pretty positively throughout the middle of the week. But since then, things have started to change. Things have started to get a little doubtful. And because things have gotten doubtful, which I'll talk about in a second, oil prices just absolutely took off. I mean, as we can see here, Brent crude oil currently at $90 a barrel, up about 7% in the last 24 hours. If you look at US oil, the West Texas Index, guys, this thing is currently flying, currently at $87 a barrel, up 11% over the last 24 hours. Because again, the whole Trump plan from Wednesday is starting to really get some doubt. So what I did is I accumulated all of the reasons why analysts are doubting Trump's plan to actually be able to solve this Strait of Hormuz thing, because those reasons from these analysts are the reasons, of course, to why the stock market is not responding well. Because if the stock market thinks that oil prices are going to continue to go up because Trump can't solve this problem, it's going to continue to dump the market. Okay, so let's talk about some of these problems with Trump's plan. So the very first problem with Trump's plan, and honestly what may be the biggest problem with this plan, is that the Navy escorts cannot scale to the required volume or speed. The Strait of Hormuz normally sees around 100 tankers and cargo ships pass through it each day, handling around 20 million barrels of oil per day and LNG, which represents about 20% of global seaborne energy trade. That's hundreds of tankers every single day. Okay. Now, in addition to the hundreds of tankers on a daily basis, there are also hundreds of tankers that are currently stuck inside the Persian Gulf trying to get out, and there's hundreds of tankers stuck outside the Persian Gulf trying to get in. So we're talking about hundreds, if not getting close at this point, to thousands of tankers that are going to need escort, that are also going to need that insurance that Trump has promised. And the reality is that our Navy is just not that big. What are we going to do? Send every single boat in all of the United States to go escort them? No, of course not, right? And so the reality is that we probably can't even fulfill on that promise that was made a couple days ago by Trump regarding the Strait of Hormuz. Now, in addition to that, yeah, even if there were, and it was an escort coming through, a lot of these companies are like, I don't care if there's an escort or not. It's not safe. I don't want to send my people out there for the sake of money. And so they're just not doing it. Many companies have said, I don't care if there's escorts or not. I'm not going out there until these attacks stop. And you can't stop them. And I don't blame them. In addition to that, when you think about insurance, right, the insurance that Trump was providing, that's not super exciting, right? Like, yeah, insurance is cool for the company, but that insurance is not very cool for the person driving these vessels. Because think about this. Let me think about this. Imagine if I told you, hey, person watching, let's say your name is Jeff. Shout out to my Jeffs out there. Hey Jeff, I'll give you car insurance if you drive your car from here through that war-torn country. So if anything happens to your car, we'll pay for it. You might think, okay, great, you'll pay for my car. What about my life? Right? Like, if something happens to my car, that's something that's happening to me. So the car insurance is great. I'm not going out there. You know what I mean? I'm not that worried about the car. Yeah, that's cool for the person who maybe owns the car. That has nothing to do with me. And so a lot of these captains of these vessels are like, I don't care about that insurance. I'm not going. And so they're just not going. Now, in addition to that, even if they were to go, the implementation and the logistical and legal complications of this insurance is very complicated. This is not a short-term, quick thing that they can just implement today or tomorrow. This takes a while. I mean, we're talking about a whole country, right? And so, in a whole conflict. And so, because of this, a lot of analysts are saying, wait, I don't think this plan from Trump is going to work. I don't think this is going to work at all. And so, we're recognizing that people are now betting that it won't. And so you're seeing oil prices flying back up because analysts are expecting again that the Strait of Hormuz situation is going to continue to get uglier and uglier, that the Strait of Hormuz is going to slow down more and more and more, and that's going to cause a constraint on the global oil supply, which will cause an inflation issue, which will then cause stocks to fall. And so the reality is that we had a moment earlier this week where we thought there was a solution to the Strait of Hormuz, which caused the market to pump. But now that that solution is being broken down and people are recognizing, hey, this probably won't work, the market is now pulling back again. And it just goes to show the impact of this oil situation. Because when it seems like the oil supply may not be an issue, markets do good. But when it seems like it may be an issue, markets do bad. And that's why you have to watch it so closely and pay attention to all of these developments from the Strait of Hormuz, because they're having a direct impact on stock market prices, okay? So I'll keep you updated as this all does play out, but that's your reasoning as to why the market is doing what it's doing, and that's what we need to be watching going forward. So throughout the weekend, the best thing to do, gladly the weekend is coming, so we can just get a little bit of a pause in the action here. What you need to watch is how does that strait develop? Do we actually see some escort going on from, U.S. Navy vessels for these oil tankers or not? Do they figure out the insurance thing or not? We have to see how this all plays out because that'll impact how the market opens up on Monday, okay? So I'll be here with you every step of the way, updating you on how it does play out. I did also just want to say thank you a ton to those of you who are new to the channel. We had 4 subscribers in the last video and we just 10x'd up to 40. So thank you all so much for joining in on the channel. This is a brand new channel from myself. So if you have been enjoying the content, all that I ask is you just like this video, subscribe to the channel. It really does help out a lot. Thank you all for joining in, and I can't wait to see you all in the next one. See you, everybody.